Okay, my name is Justin Kinseth. I'm the head track and field coach here at the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh. And today we're going to be breaking down horizontal jumps development, teaching the long and triple jump to you, and then its relationship within a football and sprints-based culture. So a good chunk of this is going to be me breaking down the long and triple jump, giving you drills, video, technique, but also I wanted to give you a little bit of my experiences, growing up being a football track and field athlete, how I've kind of, really built my program off of, what I've learned and kind of how I've even changed my thought as far as what I used to think football and track was as a relationship, and now being a college track coach. So let's get started. Okay, so my story. I want to kind of give you a background on, how I kind of put together a plan as far as my where I am in my track career right now as a coach, but where I've really kind of molded and shaped from what I used to think to what I think now. But I grew up with a football to weight room mentality. Track and field was for those that just wanted to get in shape or who were bored and they wanted to basically have something in the spring, and if they didn't play baseball, or if they didn't, have some, spring soccer in some states, they would just go out for track because it was just there. When I was in high school, track, it just always seemed to the football players like it was tedious, it was painful, it was boring. It was always, hey, we're going out there to run 10 200s, have really low intention, high volume. And then if you ever wanted to, have any field events or hurdle, the coach would just say, hey, head over there, get a few jumps in the pit, and then get out of here. And of course, I always felt like that was, them just kind of passing the buck off and going and doing a field event, and really just saying, hey, but get back for your running. So also, I used to believe in the football speed versus track speed. To be honest with you, that was just a crutch for football players to say, oh, I'm fast on the field, but on the track, I don't really want to push into that other bound. We'll just pretend like I'm fast because I'm fast on the football field. But let's be honest, max velocity, your miles per hour and acceleration, speed to speed. So, it was funny. I started to kind of change my outlook on, football and track when I actually started training for the multi in college. I actually started as a football player in college. And I love my experience, but all in all, I ended up getting some pretty severe injuries. I broke my ankle, pretty bad. I had 2 surgeries, staph infection, and it really limited me, laterally. And unfortunately, I had to, push into a different realm. And, when track and field in college was an opportunity, I saw the multi and seeing all the events, hurdles, throws, jumps, mid distance, sprints as well. I fell in love with the process of track, and it was learning and understanding all those new field events and how they are so much fun. And it was something I never had the opportunity to really do in high school. And that's where this is all becoming, where I'm building this idea now that, we're looking at, sprints as something that's extremely, valuable, not only in, football and track culture, but then we want to talk about how jumping in this video is just as valuable. And I'm going to kind of show you why I think that. Go to slide number 4. All right. In my opinion, jumping is the glue. It is the glue between, those football players, those track athletes, and knowing that you can, have, a field event on the in-between that can be able to provide both. You're getting great plyometric work in, you're sprinting, and the long and triple jump is such an athletic movement. And also where a football player can also delve into and feel like they can be a part of that program even more. I start off with, max velocity is still priority number 1, but I'm saying to utilize it to its fullest. So, it's not always just about, going out there and getting your flies in, and that's obviously number 1. We work that here at UW Oshkosh quite often, whether it's fly 10s, fly 20s, fly 30s. But when you're having that football to track program, you want to also see where that max velocity can build into a jumper. These are obviously my opinions, but, all athletes must sprint but not all athletes are sprinters. What I mean by that is, kind of another bullet point. You can be a football player and you should sprint. The goal is to get you better than last week's version of yourself. But that doesn't mean that you are technically a sprinter that's at that top level for your track team. And I think that's where these football players get discouraged. It's tough to be, the 12th fastest sprinter on your team. However, like a bullet point I have here, the 8th fastest sprinter can be your best jumper. You don't necessarily have to be a speed demon, on the track in order to be a great long jumper or triple jumper. There's a plyometric, relationship in there that sometimes it's not always top end speed, but obviously imagine getting that athlete faster with those flies, building a better max velocity, and just imagine what those results can be. Going up a little bit, if you can sprint, you can jump. Speed is so important with the long and the triple jump, and knowing that those events help build into a better sprinter as well. So it's a double-edged sword. And then obviously, if you're that football coach that wants your athletes to get faster, you got to involve the jumps with it too. I call the long and triple jump triple threat events. In acceleration phase, you're pushing out the back, you're being aggressive down the runway, and then your max velocity is there too. You're hitting high intention. Of course, you can't sprint, full on out like you would in a flight 10 on the runway, but we want to get close. But then finally, where this becomes really, really beneficial is the plyometric aspect of it too. The bounding, the jumping, learning a penultimate step, understanding that you can turn that speed and translate it into a very, very far jump is extremely valuable too. And finally, I'm telling those track coaches, football coaches, invest in your jumps. If you have a sprinter that says, hey, coach, I want to try to learn the long jump, triple jump, absolutely share that with them. And then start to really educate yourself on how to build a solid jumps program. Here at UW Oshkosh, I'm a big speed-based guy. Some of my best jumpers are my best sprinters. Some of my best sprinters are my best jumpers. And knowing that if you can be a sprinter that can jump and then you hit those relays, you're hitting so many events at the state meet. And a lot of those athletes end up becoming, or already are football players too. So you get to have that relationship that you're building an athlete over the off season for football, but that off season is being a track and field athlete and having one heck of an experience, in the spring. So that's kind of my relationship with football, with track, with the jumps and the sprints. I always feel like jumping is the best of both worlds. It's the best way to encompass a really great program. So if there's any other questions you have on that, please feel free to DM me. But from here, I want to break down the jumps. I'm a track coach, and I want to really break this down for you. So that way, if you're a football coach or if you're a track coach as well, you're going to get a lot of detail from me. And I'm going to share videos with you throughout this on our program and showing some video breakdown.